All right, good afternoon, everyone. Ag Ed 5123, Dr. John Ramsey coming to you from 466 Ag Hall. It's Friday, it's fall break. The students are off and about, no telling what. I'm sure they're looking for a scooter to ride somewhere around campus, would be my guess, and they're having no luck because the birds and the limes were rejected this week from OSU's campus, of all things. I wanted to just take a few minutes this afternoon and give you a quick update on week 9 and kind of looking forward to week 10. Next week, I will be spending the most of the week at the National FFA Convention. I'm the superintendent for the extemporaneous public speaking event. So I'm going to be out of pocket working that activity. I'll obviously have access to email and it won't be hard to catch if you have questions or you have concerns about our course, but I did want to just walk through a couple of things this afternoon to kind of set us up for next week so that we could have that taken care of. So first of all, let me say that there is a quiz this week. I know several of you have taken the quiz already, which is great. The quiz will be open through the weekend. I think you have till midnight Sunday night to actually take the quiz, so hopefully you can attend to that. I've evaluated the discussion and part 2 of the program plan. You guys are rock stars when it comes to the discussion board. I really appreciate the thought and the depth of conversation that you've had with one another. And the spirit of the conversation has been very on point and just really good. So I really appreciate that. And I hope you do too, in terms of the effort that each of your peers are putting into the discussion board. Um, the program plan part 2s were very well done. I was very impressed with the plans that I evaluated. I provided feedback for everyone in the Dropbox, so you should be able to go to your Dropbox and click on the feedback that I've provided. For the most part, very much where we need to be. There's a few suggestions in the main, a couple things that were kind of common. Some of you have identified the word understand as an objective for your program plan or for a topic or a teaching experience. Understand is very difficult. It's somewhat subjective. My understanding and your understanding may be two different things. And as an educator, it's really hard for us to measure understanding. And so I challenge you to think about a different or a better action verb to replace the word understand. The action verb should be something that is measurable and something that can be utilized as a pointer, if you will, in how the student will be held accountable for the learning. So, for example, if you want students to be able to identify the major factors that one would consider when evaluating livestock, you would want that identify as the action verb. And then if you were going to have some slides or a live animal that they were going to take a look at, you could evaluate their ability to identify the major muscular groups or muscle indicators on a live animal by their ability to talk about those either in an oral set of reasons or in a written set of reasons. So hopefully that makes sense and you can see how those objectives should connect to what you want the students to be able to do. So if you've used the word understand, I want you to eliminate that word and replace it with an action verb that I think will help you and your students better understand what's expected of them in terms of their learning. I hope the Tyler's 4 questions were beneficial to you. I think that's really a great place to start anytime we're getting ready to plan for instruction. Those 4 simple questions can really pack a wallop, so to speak, as you start to unpack whatever that purpose is, and then thinking clearly about what those experiences may be and how they align to that purpose, and then how you organize that, and then also how you evaluate that learning. I really thought that many of you thought you did a great job of identifying a variety of teaching methods that could really lend themselves nicely to adult learners. They were very engaging, hands-on. There were a few of you that were probably a little too PowerPoint heavy or technology or computer driven. That may be fine in short periods or in small doses, but you don't want to lean on that exclusively because adults are not going to really that's not what they really are interested in or how they may learn best. You can disseminate a lot of information, I understand, but it may not be their preferred learning style. And so you want to try to use that sparingly. And in some instances, that was the primary delivery for the content. So if you're not the expert, then find an expert that can kind of stand in the place of that PowerPoint. Also, remember the power of having the real thing. Several of you have identified what those real things might be as you bring them in for interest approaches, or you're going to try to help them learn how to use a specific tool. Don't put a picture up on the board when you can actually bring in the actual equipment and then have them actually use the equipment and learn a skill and become somewhat proficient at actually using that piece of equipment. I mean, that's hopefully the end game for the training. So again, many of you, just a lot of good plans, a lot of good thoughts and thinking going into the plans. So I really appreciate that. So next week, you kind of have a little bit of you can take a look at your plans, and we can start thinking about part 3. And there's no quiz, there's no discussion. There's this worksheet that again are just there to help you think through. There's some reading here that kind of goes to the budgeting process, and again, really thinking more through these details and having a plan A, plan B, plan C in terms of logistics and what that looks like. So continue to read and continue to think deeply about your program plans. They're looking great. We'll have submission of the 3rd installment coming up here in a couple of weeks. But so next week, you're in pretty good shape. Hope you're doing well and enjoying this cooler weather. And for those of you that were in the path of the hurricanes and the flooding, I hope things are going well for you and you're starting to get some degree of normalcy back in your daily life. I know that may be a big stretch even now, but we are thinking about you here. So if we can help or you need any assistance, please don't hesitate to let me know. All right, you guys have a great weekend.